Welcome back to the Learning Summit podcast, where we explore the latest trends in workplace learning and development. I'm your host, Alex, and today we're unpacking a fascinating topic, social learning theory. We learn by watching, interacting, and engaging with others, but how does that apply to professional training and development? To explain it, I'm joined by Sean Gilligan, founder of Webanywhere. Sean, welcome back.
Thanks, Alex. Social learning is something we all experience, whether we realize it or not. It's how people pick up behaviors, skills, and knowledge by observing and interacting with others.
Let's start with the basics. What is social learning theory?
Social learning theory was developed by Albert Bandura. It's the idea that people learn not just through direct instruction, but also by observing others, imitating behaviors, and receiving feedback. In the workplace, this happens naturally. Employees watch how experienced colleagues solve problems, communicate, and handle challenges. They learn by example.
So how does social learning theory apply to workplace training?
It's huge for professional development. Employees don't just learn from courses, they learn from their managers, peers, and real-world experiences. For example, mentoring programs allow employees to observe and learn from senior staff. Online forums and discussion groups let teams share insights and best practices. Even simple things like shadowing a colleague or getting real-time feedback are forms of social learning.
That makes sense. What are some key benefits of using social learning in corporate training?
Firstly, it's more engaging. People remember what they've learned better when they experience it through interaction, rather than just reading or watching videos. Secondly, it creates a collaborative culture. Employees learn faster when they're sharing knowledge and problem solving together. Thirdly, it's cost effective. You don't always need expensive training programs. Sometimes the best learning happens through conversations and peer coaching. Finally, it's real world applicable. Employees learn in context, picking up skills that they can immediately use in their daily work.
That's a strong case for social learning, but what are some common challenges companies face when trying to implement it?
One challenge is lack of structure. Social learning is informal by nature, so companies need to create frameworks to support it, mentorship programs, peer learning sessions, and discussion spaces. Another challenge is engagement. Not everyone naturally participates. Encouraging employees to share knowledge, ask questions, and contribute takes effort. And of course, tracking results is tricky. Traditional training programs have clear metrics, but measuring the impact of social learning requires feedback loops and engagement tracking.
So how can companies integrate social learning into their training strategies?
First, leverage technology. Platforms like LMS systems, discussion forums, and internal social networks create spaces for employees to learn from each other. Second, encourage mentorship and coaching. Pairing new hires with experienced employees helps them learn faster. Third, recognize and reward knowledge sharing. If employees know their contributions are valued, they'll be more likely to participate. Finally, embed social learning in daily work. Create a culture where team members regularly exchange ideas, give feedback, and collaborate on problem solving.
That's great advice. If a company is just getting started, what's the first step they should take?
Start small. Identify one or two ways to integrate social learning, maybe a mentorship program or a dedicated knowledge sharing platform. Then encourage participation. Managers and leaders should set the example by engaging in social learning themselves. And finally, track engagement, look at participation rates, feedback, and employee performance to see if it's working.
That's fantastic. Before we wrap up, where can companies go to learn more about social learning strategies?
They can visit Webanywhere.com. We help organizations integrate social learning into their training programs to boost engagement and knowledge sharing.
Sean, thanks again for another insightful discussion.
Thanks, Alex. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Learning Summit podcast. See you next time.